What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back with more Danmachi, and today we've got Familia Rush dropping here in just a couple of hours. We really need to talk about this because you got to prepare. Now, if you guys aren't aware of how Familia Rush works, if you've forgotten or whatever, because I think the last one we actually had was Royale, this is the one where you have 3 different enemies, and they kind of drop in succession. So it is a raid event, so everybody in your Familia is basically banding together to try to defeat the enemies, and once they are defeated, basically enemy number 2 comes in, then enemy number 3 comes in, then the enemy number 1 comes back a little bit harder than before. Now, what is going to happen with enemy number 1 here? Okay, so you'll see here that Crimson Scissors times 5, so you have 5 foes here, so it's an AoE situation. Aqua Killer is effective, of course, we kind of knew that was going to be the case. Water magic attacks are effective, so you really want to focus on water magic AoE. That's the difference. Now, physical might still work, but we'll get to that here in a moment. Enemy skills. Decrease foes' strength. So if you're getting hit with down strength, that's really going to hurt your ability to use strength teams. Increase self-strength. Whole point of that is to try to knock you out as quickly as you can, but honestly, I rarely find these are a threat. Increase allies' physical resistance. We're going to get to that right here. Physical resist is 40%. If they increase physical resistance, that actually might go up. Magic resistance is down 40. Water is down 60. And everything else is neutral. Now, if you have Aqua Killers on your water physical team, you might be able to use it, but you will need to knock down some of these debuffs. Just be aware of that. It is possible to use it. You're not going to get an optimum score, but you might be able to get a decent score. But you really got to be able to, number 1, be debuff. Number 2, get rid of their debuffs. Now, down here, water magic attacks are effective. Uabra Sword, Hedon, and Party Goddess Aphrodite with their magic and water attack damage buffs are good examples of recommended units. Both come with Aqua Killer to dish out the most damage. Also, Defeater of Despair Cassandra comes with Aqua Killer as well. She'll be effective. I don't know if Cassandra's really going to do much. She's more of an ailment unit. I'd really have to see her damage. I'm sus on that one. But yeah, if you have Hedon and you have Aphrodite, they are going to be effective here. But there are other ways to go about this. I think most of us probably skipped that banner, to be completely frank. But if you didn't, great. If you did, just look at ways to kind of, I guess, nullify these effects. And there's no harm in that at all. Obviously, you're not going to get an optimum score, but this is really about, defeating this opponent as fast as possible. Remember, you get 4 tries a day. 4 tries, and that's it. You do have mock battle, and you want to use mock battle to make sure that you are getting the most out of your teams. And you do want to coordinate with your Familia, because some people are going to have great teams for this, and some people are going to have tragic teams. And you might want to actually wait until boss 2 or 3 drop in order to really go ham. So do consider that. So coordinate with your Familia. Just plan and think ahead and run through this with at least, I guess, caution. Now, once enemy number 1 is gone, enemy number 2 drops. So this giant toad times 3. Once again, AoE is going to be your primary source of damage here. Aqua Killer's effective. Dark physical attacks are effective. This is great. Dark Fizz team is going to wreck this. Enemy skills. Foes, plural, decrease strength, magic, and agility. So you do need to get rid of those debuffs before you really do your essays. Allies. Increase strength, magic, agility, and dex. It's not really anything to worry about. But that decrease of strength, you got to get rid of that. The agility probably isn't going to affect a huge amount. But that decrease of strength, you got to get rid of that debuff. With that debuff in play, it's going to be nigh impossible to do what you got to do. Now, physical resistance down 40%. Light resistance up 40, but dark is down 60. Everything else is neutral, so if you really got to use Magic Dark, I suppose you can, but I don't know how many Aqua Killers are actually on the Magic Dark team. Probably none, to be completely frank. But nevertheless, you guys know, this Asterius is going to shine here. Dark physical attacks are effective. Units with Aqua Killer and with skills that decrease dark attack damage, like Edgy Dreamer Hegni, are effective attackers. Hegni also has effects that decreases allies' heal amount, so preparing units that can deal damage will be effective. So, yeah. You don't necessarily have to use Aqua Killers in this situation. Aqua Killers are going to be significantly more effective and get more damage out, but units like Asterius that are already like crazy strong will probably deal some crazy damage too. They're going to be a little lighter, but honestly, that unit is so beefy in comparison to Hegni. Hegni will eke him out in damage, but you're talking, a minuscule amount. So if you're free to play and you didn't pull in Hegni, start building that physical dark team and really start pumping damage into Asterius, and you should be fine. You should be able to pull a decent number out. Once again, you're not going to go top 10, but be realistic about your goals here. You should be all right. Finally, Angario head times 1. Aqua Light Killer is effective. Light, yes. Light magic attacks are effective. Self, increase strength, increase physical resistance, and magic resistance. Gotta get rid of those buffs, man. Those buffs are gonna hurt. Well, not hurt you, but hurt your damage. Foes plural decrease strength and magic, and agility. Once again, debuffs are gonna be a huge factor in this. Gotta get rid of debuffs. Now, I kind of feel like this is a no-brainer with a lot of the teams we've been building. You probably don't have a lot of Aqua Killer on those teams that have to go through. I think that's mostly like Beast Killer and whatnot, but nevertheless, you are going to be able to do a decent amount of damage with a lot of those teams. Now, do bear in mind here, physical resistance is up 70%, so the physical light team isn't going to do it. You really need the magic light team. Magic resistance is down 60%. Light is also down 60%. Light physical, you're basically running into a situation where you're still at a bit of a deficit. You still have not caught up to all of this neutral damage, so you really need that magic light. That is going to be huge, 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 huge. And the whole point in them doing this is to make sure you don't just run in there with the standard physical light team. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. If you made a really good light magic team for Wrecker Buster, great. You'll be able to utilize that. If not, just go through your team and consider what you can do. Excuse me. Obviously, Aqua Killers are going to be preferred. If you don't have Aqua Killers, I don't think it's the end of the world. Light magic attacks are effective. A unit with light magic attacks and Aqua Killer, like Rowdy Guest Osvi, as a recommended attacker. Or you say, is a recommended attacker. It's grammar hard. Remove enemies' magic resistance buffs and aim for a high damage. Also, since she has the ability to increase counter damage, grouping her up with units that counter will also be effective. That's huge. Remember, counter damage is massive these days. If you could buff counter, remember, with a lot of units that get like crazy percentage boosts and whatever on their counters, you can do an insane amount of extra damage just by hitting counters. So if your opponent is hitting you and you're getting zeros for it, you're not countering, and you're losing a ton of damage. You want to make sure that you actually, in a lot of situations, and I talked about it with my builds the other day, where I actually had to take like the level 90 armors off and put on level 60 armors just to make sure we took a little bit of damage each time and then dealt that back as counter damage. Because even if you're hitting single digits, you don't want to hit zeros, but you do want to hit, like double, single, even triple digits aren't probably huge if you have a healer. But you want to kind of balance it out so that you are getting at least some numbers there, not zeros, so that you're inflicting counter damage, because counter damage will make a huge difference in your overall game. But that's it, guys. Once you beat enemy 3, you're pretty much back to enemy number 1. Just enemy number 1 is going to become a higher level, and so on and so forth. Of course, eventually that does cap out, and they roll back to their lowest possible level, but if you run into that situation, congratulations, you are just a beast. So, like, comment, share, let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what kind of numbers you guys are getting down in the comments below. And if you need help with teams, maybe let me know. I sometimes try to build teams for these, but sometimes I just honestly forget because we've got so many things going on. So if you remind me in the comments, that actually might help it out. But for now, like, comment, share, and I'll catch you on the next one.